I bet you've never heard a business coach tell you that awareness is one of the biggest marketing tools that you can use. Well, it is, and it is on a couple different levels. Awareness is one of the secrets, the hidden secrets to changing your marketing, changing your sales, but also changing your life and the quality of relationships that you have inside of your life. Relationships with yourself, relationships with other people, but also the relationship of your audience. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how awareness and stepping into more and more awareness over the past 2 years has literally altered my life, changed my life for the positive, even though this year has been a crazy, chaotic, painful year, is definitely changing for the better. But not only that, when you can master that skill yourself, you can translate it over to business to create some of the best marketing that people have ever seen. And I'm going to talk about how you can do that on this episode. So if that's interesting to you, well, keep on listening.
Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we have a little bit of a different episode today. We're getting back to the roots of what I like to talk about on the podcast, or I did for a lot of years, which is incorporating life lessons and personal growth and development and things that I'm learning combined with the business stuff. And today, we're going to talk about awareness. And the reason why we're going to talk about awareness is because one of the biggest reasons that I see students not creating content that lands or resonates or gets the engagement or the clicks or the whatever, or the reason why they're not making sales is because they're talking outside the awareness of their audience. But awareness is also something that we need as business owners, moving forward and growing our business, because we all have blind spots and different things that we can't see. And, a lot of us are also in relationships, and awareness is just one of these things that tends to come in and plays a massive role in so many results of our lives, whether it's the quality of our relationships, it's the quality of our marketing, it's the quality of the relationship we're building with our audience. It's how it affects the relationship that we have with ourselves as well. And when I talk about the relationship that you have with yourself, one of the biggest things that I've been learning this past year, especially going through divorce and all of that fun stuff, is that the relationship that you have with yourself is actually a really big part of how successful you're going to be in life. And that doesn't just mean in business and finances, but it means in quality of relationships as well. And so for me, when I got divorced, I was with my wife since I was 16. Got divorced at the age of, let's just call it 40. How old am I now? I think I'm 41. Let me do some math. Yes, it's 2005. Yeah, I'm 40, 41. I wasn't sure if I was 41 or 42. I was 40 when I went through the divorce process, 41 by the time it finally went through. But one of the things is when you are with someone for so long, you almost start to operate as a unit, and a lot of your identity is wrapped up in being, husband or partner or spouse or whatever it may be. But then there's like things that you guys like together and don't like together, and so there's like a separation of that and a splitting of these identities that you thought were you, but were actually you in a relationship, or you as a part of a unit liking these things together. And then with that being said, also there was a lot of rediscovery of the things that really are me and what I really do enjoy and what I can do and explore without any sort of limitations. Right. And so, but even to get to that point it took a huge amount of awareness of, am I doing this thing or enjoying this thing because that was a part of this relationship that I was in for the last 25 years? Or is this something that I really do like? And having the awareness of like, I like this or I don't like this, or I enjoy this or I don't enjoy this, or even how my future relationship may look with someone else. There's this huge amount of awareness that has to that you have to sort of go through, or I've been going through over the last, I don't know, what is it, whatever it is, 9 months or whatever. Or actually, honestly, it's been more than that, probably a year since the divorce process started, but it's this huge amount of awareness after awareness after awareness after awareness, even things like, being the martyr inside a relationship and realizing that maybe you do have a little bit of a, nice guy syndrome going on, where you always want to be the nice guy and this and that. And that's how you learn love and like all these things, right? So not to get too deep into my own self-discovery over this past year, but there was a lot of that going on for me this last year, and just becoming more and more aware of my patterns. And although this year, yes, has been extremely painful and rough and not fun, it has led to massive amounts of awareness of like how I was just showing up in life, of really not understanding who I was to the deepest level that I probably should have or could have. It's also hard too. Like, all you parents out there would know this. You're like running a business. You're also being a parent. You're also being a spouse. It's just there's not enough effing time in the day to really like explore yourself as much as you want to. However, when you only have your kids 50% of the time and you're alone 50% of the time, it gives you a lot of time to really self-reflect and discover who you are. And it's been leading to a lot of massive growth for me, which is really great. But the thing that when it comes to self-awareness, or just awareness in general, awareness is something that I think that everyone should be striving for, fighting for, discovering more of. And the reason for that is because and also stepping into more awareness, especially when it comes to more self-awareness, actually requires you to let go of the ego as well. And so, because what happens is, if you have this opportunity to become aware of one of your patterns or to see something, a lot of the times it happens because of the reaction of someone else. Meaning that, like, I might have this pattern where I automatically yell at my kids or change my tone. Change my tone, and I'm not even aware of it. And my kids take this on as a negative tone, and they don't like it, and it hurts them. And they communicate to me that I don't like this. This hurts my feelings, whatever. I have the option in that moment to let my ego say, like, that wasn't my intention. I didn't do that. You shouldn't feel that way, right? And what that does is it totally dismisses, pushes away, and poo-poos on this gift of awareness that was just given to you, where you can go like, well, maybe there is something to explore here. Maybe, why is my first reaction to get defensive? Like, when we start asking more questions about ourselves, in those moments we let go of the ego, we can start to step into more awareness on our own. And that's going to lead to massive amounts of growth. It's going to lead to deeper, better relationships. It's going to make the people around you feel heard and respected, especially your children. And so when we're in a relationship with someone, and we're always in a relationship with someone, including ourselves, the first thing we have to do is we have to be able to let go of the ego and really get curious and be vulnerable. And we have to go through those things, because if we don't, then there's no change. Then there's no repair. And sometimes you get to a point in relationships where the awareness will stop for someone. And you can't control if that person wants to step into more awareness or they want to hold on to the ego, but you can do it for yourself. But if you really want to have the best relationships in the world, it requires two people to be able to step into more awareness, to let go of the ego, because there is no repair. There is no repair when one person, or you, or the other person, whoever it is going to hold on to the ego more than they would rather step into the awareness and grow and change. If someone's doing something to you, or there's something very hurtful, or the behavior, even if their intention is good, but the impact on you is hard, and they aren't willing to step into the awareness, and they want to hold on to ego, which usually looks like defensiveness, deflection, blaming you, giving reasons as to why they did what they did. When that starts to happen, where all awareness is lost, and what's happening is defense. Let me defend the ego. And when that's a thing, there is absolutely no repair possible for a relationship. There is no repair possible for positive change. And it completely poo-poos all over a deeper understanding of someone else and who they are and how they react and all of that stuff. Now, I bring this up because obviously this was a big part of other lessons I had to learn this year, between obviously my marriage, but also friendships, a lot of stuff. Like, for people that have gone through divorce, you know that pretty much everything that you knew, including family and friends, pretty much gets I was going to say destroyed, but it's not even destroyed. It just is rearranged. It looks different. Not good, not bad. It's just not the same. And with that being said, I think awareness is such a really important thing, because a lot of people don't carry it on themselves. And the reason why I'm diving so deep into you stepping into your own awareness, your own self-awareness, is because the more you can do that for yourself, the more you can learn to let go, the more you can learn to step into your awareness, your behaviors, your changes, and look at yourself objectively and get curious about yourself. The more that you can strengthen that ability, I guarantee you, the more you're going to have the ability to do that for your audience. So I'm wrapping this back into business now, because that's one of the biggest things that I learned over the past 18 months to 2 years, is that the more that I let go of my ego, the more I try to understand someone else's perspective, the more I raise my awareness to my own patterns, my own behaviors, the more I tuned into that, the more awareness I got, the more I was able to live in someone else's shoes, the more I was able to see a completely different perspective of mine, and not make either perspective right or wrong, but it was able to just accept and experience and live in a different perspective other than my own. And when I was able to do that, when I had the ability to do that for some people in the closest of my relationships over the past 2 years, what I started to notice was that there was a massive shift and a massive up level in my ability to do that to the audience. Because we sometimes have the coaching hat on. We have the coaching lens on. We have the coaching lens where we look at something through our experience, our knowledge, the things that come easy to us, we just accept as everyone knows, as general knowledge, when in fact, our audience may not even know the most basic of things. And the more that we can tap into what they're going through, what their experience is, the more we can alter our communication, our topics, our marketing to be more adjusted to them. And so some of the biggest ways we can do that is really, and again, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record, but this is stepping into and understanding the problems they're dealing with. And what this means is the unwanted experiences. What are the unwanted experiences that they're going through that they don't want to go through anymore? And when we lack complete awareness of that, marketing becomes so much harder. And one of the biggest signs that you don't actually have an understanding of this is when I ask you, what is their problem? And you give me generalized answers like, oh, they're overwhelmed, they're busy, they're stressed out. It's like, okay, great. So like, what specifically is happening to them? What is manifesting in their physical life that they don't want there anymore? What is that? That's where the magic is. The next step also is looking at what are the actions they're doing that are causing these things. What are the actions they're taking to try to fix these things that they don't know aren't working and aren't helping? Even though logically it's like you're not getting the result, yet you keep doing it. Like logically, they should get it, but they're not. What are those actions? Because they lack complete awareness that those actions are either causing the problem or they don't fix the problem. They're lacking complete awareness around all of that. And then they also lack complete awareness of what the best solution is. And this one's really important because when you start to understand your people, you can start to craft a solution or an offer that's geared towards them based off of what they are aware will help. And I really want you to pay attention that crafting a solution or an offer becomes more powerful when it's crafted around what they are aware will help. What I mean by that is if your offer is like 26 modules on all these different things that the root cause and all these things that you know, they're going to look at that and be like, WTF, I don't need that. Because their awareness isn't to the place of becoming aware or not like known that this is what they need. It's like, you could have someone dying of thirst in the middle of the desert, but if they don't know that water is what quenches the thirst and you show up with a glass of water, they're gonna be like, I don't know if I need that, right? But if they have convinced themselves that a nice cold glass of wine, I don't know, this is so weird, such a weird example, is sitting there and they're like, it's within their awareness that that will help. Like they think that that is what's going to help them, then they're going to probably go drink that. So a lot of our marketing has to start with understanding where people are at so we can bring them to a place of understanding, right? And that's what a lot of marketing is. A lot of marketing is just bridging of awarenesses. Most people don't know that. Most people don't understand that, like when someone enters your funnel or whatever, the very first point of contact with them needs to almost 100% be within their awareness. What do they think the problem is? What is the thing in their mind that they don't want to deal with anymore? What actions do they think are working that aren't working? What actions are they trying to, because they think it's going to work and it actually doesn't? Let's talk to that. Let's communicate to that. Let's step into their awareness, their world, their reality, and let's start our conversation there so they feel heard, validated, and that whatever you offer is 100% relevant to them. And that's where our marketing needs to start. And you don't get there if you don't step into their perspective, you don't step into their awareness, you don't step into their reality. And that also requires letting go of yours, letting go of how smart you are, letting go of how many degrees you have, letting go of how much information you have, and stepping into what is their world, what do they have, what are they feeling, what are they doing. Then what happens when you can communicate to their awareness? Now the messaging game, the marketing game now becomes, what are the steps we need to implement so that they now become aware of what the solution is so I can sell them the solution. Now, if you're lucky, they may already be aware of the solution. Like when I was selling a video SEO course, which I used to do called Video Overtake, I would sell this program and it would be all about how to rank videos on YouTube. And that was the problem that people had. They were already aware that I don't know how to rank videos on YouTube, this course, right? So there wasn't much of an awareness gap that I had to fill. But there's a lot of you out there that have a big awareness gap you have to fill. For example, any of you that work with nervous system, it is very rare that someone's walking around saying, I just wish I knew how to regulate my nervous system. Like it's becoming more of a mainstream thing. But if you're a therapist or you're, a parenting coach or something like that, and you need people to regulate their nervous system, they don't want those things, right? They just want to be less depressed. They want their kids to listen. They're not sitting there saying, I need to regulate my nervous system. So they lack complete awareness of what is actually going on. And it's your job to understand where they're at and where they need to go. Awareness is one of the most secret ingredients to living a very successful and full life. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about the quality of your relationships, the quality with yourself, the quality of your marketing, the quality of your business, the amount of sales you make, all of that stuff. All of it comes down to awareness, self-awareness, awareness, helping raise awareness in other people, finding people and bringing them into your life who also want to become more aware of who they are, how they can grow, those sort of things. When you have that in your circle, life can change fast. So my recommendation to you guys when it comes to, from a business perspective, is to really pay attention to the feedback you get from the people around you. And feedback doesn't always mean to be direct. Are people calling you to go hang out? Or are you always having to call them? Your best friends, are they checking in on you all the time when you're going through something hard? Or are they just sort of like letting you call them when you need them, right? Even when you call them, are they wanting to hang out with you? How many people can you call like right now that you know will be there for you no matter what, right? These are all signs. And I do believe that these are all signs of how much you value growth, can let go of ego, and how much self-awareness that you can take in. That's what success is. And when you're able to do that for yourself, for the people around you, and you're also able to do that for your audience, Promise you connection will go up, revenue will go up, sales will go up, quality of your relationships will go up. Because the people that aren't there at that level, and I don't mean one's better than the other or higher than the other, but it's just two different playing fields. And you have two people that are playing in the same field, things can move fast. Connection can happen fast. Your life can change fast. When your marketing steps into the real, actual awareness of your audience, leads happen fast. Show up rates happen fast. Sales happen fast. A lot of this stuff can happen really, really fast when you tap into awareness. So again, my goal to you guys is to do this with yourself first. Pay attention to the signs around you, the feedback around you, become a little bit more aware of how people experience you in the world. If you don't like how they're experiencing you, then change those behaviors, step into their perspective, truly understand their perspective and how they feel. And I promise you that skill set will translate over to business when you need to communicate and step into your audience's perspective as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned because we have another one coming up next week. Take care.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.